Welcome to the Gaming Outsider Podcast. On this week's episode, Jacob, CB, and I talk about what we in the community would like to see from the PlayStation in the next generation of consoles. In news, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater has a somewhat official release date. We've also got quite a few new games to talk about. I played a demo for a 3D platformer called Ruffy in the Riverside. Jacob played some more Monster Hunter Wilds latest beta. And Mark stops by to talk about a clever-looking game called Moons of Darsalon. This is the Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to the Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com, facebook.com/groups/thegocast, and also a Discord server that can be found at the link in the notes for this very episode. It is Tuesday, February 11th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends. First off, Mr. Chris Behrensmeyer. What's up, man?
What's happening, folks?
And Jacob Gunderson. What's going on?
Oh man, I'm too young to have a second childhood.
Too young to have a second childhood. What did I miss?
It's a Gex quote. Calm down.
Oh, okay. Anyway, like I mentioned, this is a video game podcast. If this is your first time here, we are so happy you joined us. Please, if you're watching this live, drop us some comments in the comments section while Chris learns how to use his mute button.
I hit the button. It would also help if I was clicked on the right screen. So that's my bad. Sorry, Kevin.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into the games that we've been catching up on. Jacob, it looks like you've been busy this week. What have you been playing?
I have not been busy this week. So me and the wife decided to buy a game called Sail Blazers. It's a survival crafting shop game. So the survival craft is kind of her thing. The shop is kind of my thing. And so we're just kind of like teaming up and doing the best we can. Surprisingly, it's a very buggy game. It's about 2 years old. It's a lot of fun though. The mechanics of it, being able to go out in the world and collect items and bring them back to your shop and sell them to other NPCs that are also in the world that come to visit your shop. Mm-hmm. It's a fun little experience, because normally in games you don't have any, if an NPC visits your little shop, they're just an NPC. They just disappear. But every person that visits your shop is named, and they are somewhere in the world for you to go meet them. And so when you stop a customer and have a conversation with them, they're having a conversation about maybe their shop they're doing, or their business that they own, or something that they need. And if you have something that they need, they'll buy it for an extra price for you going out of your way to get that for them. So it's kind of a little world building, a little survival craft, and it's been a lot of fun.
It's like a game just made for you and Mindy. You guys love those games where
it is, but some of the bugs are fun. If the game needs to load the world for whatever reason, items might mysteriously disappear. Mm-hmm. We think they're stolen, but they just fly off the shelf. They're just gone. Another bug that we've noticed is if you go into a chest, some of the items are there, but they don't appear there for everyone, and someone else has to go into the chest and pick them up and put them back in for it to appear. So Mindy went over to a chest and thought it was completely empty, was trying to put stuff in the chest, and she thought it was bugged out and whatever, but it was just that the chest was full, but the items were invisible to her. And so we've just it's been a little bit of a weird ride, but it's been fun.
All right. I'm really intrigued by this next game that you played.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
He's not. I might be.
CB might be, but
well, I guess intrigued isn't necessarily the right word. Perplexed, maybe. Go ahead, tell everybody what this game is called.
CB, did you ever play Motherload?
Have you heard like once or twice?
Okay, so game about digging a hole is it shows you walking on the street, and there's a bulletin board, and on it this house gets sold for like $10,000 or whatever, super cheap, but it says that it has treasure in the backyard. And so you buy the house wanting the treasure. So you start digging, and as you're digging, you find rocks and things to sell, just little things here. And then you start upgrading your equipment, and you start digging further and further into the ground, looking for treasure. And there's treasure underground. There's suitcases full of money, different things. There's a mysterious box in your garage that can open with keys that you find underground. And there's a couple of other things that you can find underground, little secrets and stuff. The game isn't very long. I played it for probably about 4 hours and beat it. And then it opens up an achievement area, so you can you get an achievement for
Digging
having
more
the
holes.
furthest fall. Yeah, basically digging more holes. It starts you over and you redig and all that nonsense. But now you've got cubic space cleared, furthest fallen, number of items sold, all that kind of stuff. It just keeps track of it after you beat the game. So there's not really too much to this game. Not like some other games of this style, because Motherlode, that one goes back very, very far, and you would go down thousands of feet into the ground looking for fossils or that kind of stuff and fighting your way back to the top. And in this game, you kind of, you have a jetpack and your battery will explode if you run out of energy, which will kill you. Then you have to start to dig over and you lose your items. But there's not really a reason for you to ever run out of energy. I built a staircase. I dug a staircase down. It probably took me longer than what was necessary, but I figured that would be the safest way. So I just kind of did that.
Is it one of those jetpacks that, like, once you land, it starts refilling?
No, it goes off of the battery of your shovel, which is, your shovel is battery powered.
I was just going to say,
which is crazy, but yeah, so you have so much stuff you can do underground before you have to leave. And then you have an inventory space too. So you might fill up before your energy runs out, or you run out of energy before you even find stuff useful. But you keep digging. It gets to an end point once you get to a certain depth, and things happen. There's a little bit of running for your life, but other than that, short game, kind of fun.
I'm kind of glad that you played this first, because I did buy this. I just haven't played it yet. So, like, just a battery powered shovel is about as useful as a gas powered stick. So,
I want to go back to the premise, because you said, like, you buy the house just so that you can dig in the backyard, right? To find treasure. What's that show where people buy, like, storage units? Storage Wars. That's what that reminds me of. Like, you're just like buying this thing so you can hopefully get lucky with whatever you find that was left in there. That kind of cracks me up.
I mean, if I could go in my backyard and find gold, I would be digging in my backyard every day.
Dude, that's what, like, when we were kids, that's all I wanted to do. Like, we're looking for something to do. I was like, can I go dig and try to find treasure in my backyard? My parents were like, no.
I wish it was that easy.
Well, it always happens that way in the movies, right?
Right?
Yeah, unfortunately,
The
like,
Beverly Hillbillies.
Look into the legalities of digging for gold in your backyard.
What does that mean? If you find something, it's
you don't get to own it.
The city.
Yep.
I mean, technically, you own the land, but
so would I own the first like 2 feet?
You own you own the land, but like mineral and oil rights, you don't.
Yeah.
Beverly Hillbillies ruined that for everybody, huh?
Yep.
Look up air rights. Air rights are hilarious.
Oh yeah,
Air raids.
Like
air
the
rights.
rights to the air, like above your house, like the land you own. How far up does it go before you don't own the air?
Get out of town.
Yeah, you
Dead
own.
serious.
You
It's
own.
about
I think it's
150
like 500 feet.
No,
It's pretty high.
No, I think it's like 150 feet, because like that's the height for a recreational drone.
Oh
my goodness.
They might have changed it, but yeah, you can technically sell the air rights. You can also sell the ground rights, but it's a bunch of legal stuff that you have to make sure that you actually own in your purchase, because depending on the city, they might change it. Like if you buy an apartment, you obviously don't have any air rights or ground rights, but I mean that's more real. That's realty talk.
Just like the dude that was selling chunks of the moon.
Yeah.
So Paul in the chat is wondering, do you have to call the Diggers hotline? Like here in Illinois, you got to call Julie. Is there anything like that in the game?
No.
Okay.
No, they don't care.
Just hit those electrical lines.
Yeah.
Shut up.
There's.
All right, Jake. What else you been playing?
I tried Big Helmet Heroes for a little bit. I didn't play it too long. It does look exactly like Castle Crashers. I got a couple of characters unlocked and ran around and killed some bad guys and leveled up my characters a little bit. And it seems like it could be a lot of fun. It seems like there's a couple of hiccups with aiming, especially with long range weapons. But I mean, Castle Crashers had the same problems when aiming, but that was more of a 2D. This is more 3D. So you have to it's a what 3D, 2D? What is that
Yeah.
called?
Isometric.
Yeah, whatever. So like you're on the path, and if an enemy is at the top of the path and you're at the bottom of the path, you have to like angle your character to shoot them. If not, you completely miss. Whereas you just kind of made sure that you were on the right path when you were on Castle Crashers. Yeah, this one you actually kind of have to like. There's no reticle, so you can't really aim. You're just kind of like, I hope this hits.
Just like in D&D.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, I haven't played that one that much. But I think I put about 2 hours into it. But that was fun too. There's a couple of combos and the different characters that you can lock really quick that make the game fun. And the biggest part of that game that hurts my feelings the most, it does not have online co-op yet. It only has couch co-op. And so I thought it might be a game that me and my son could play, and there's nothing there for us.
Wait, isn't this PC?
Yes.
Couch co-op PC.
Yep. Here. Only.
You hold your keyboard, I'll hold my keyboard.
Right.
I don't know. It looks fun, but I don't know if it's one I would pick up. But
I was hoping to play it with my kid, and then after I got it and played it for a little bit, I found out then it was only couch co-op, and I'm not dragging a couch into my bedroom to play with my kid. It's a little weird. I got my wife.
Mindy would be like, "What are you doing? I want to play couch co-op."
Right. Mindy, scoot over. I'm trying to play with the kid.
Well, let's move on to CB. What have you been catching up on?
So I beat Budget Cuts.
Man, you played that like a long time ago, didn't you?
No.
2 weeks.
Last week.
I'm thinking of a different. Oh, that's right. Okay. I'm thinking of that one where you played in an office. It was like a platformer where like a corporate takeover or something like that. Do you remember that?
God, yeah, that was a long time ago.
For whatever reason, I thought that was Budget Cuts, but Budget Cuts is the one you were talking about last week.
No, and so I finished this game, and Scott, that you need to play this game.
I don't. You got to remind me what it is. Is it a?
So you are trying to figure out why all your human coworkers are being replaced by robots.
Okay.
And everything. It's kind of a Portal clone.
Well, yeah. There you go. That's how to sell me a game, man.
So yeah, because like the way you move around in this game is essentially it's a little gun that you shoot, but it opens a portal that you can look through, and the people on the other side can see you. Like you can't throw anything through it, but you can like that's how you travel around. Dude, this game was so fun. It's so addicting. I really, really dug it. And I'm like, it's essentially just VR Portal, but without
VR.
Yeah, that's why I was just like, and it's so fun because you're like hiding in cubicles, throwing like knives and like things at robots. And like you have a little portal gun, so you're like, I'm in this cubicle. I can fire the like little portal over into that cubicle, go over there.
I have to assume that these games won't run on my MetaQuest 1.
This one might.
Yeah.
I think it's just time for you to upgrade to a MetaQuest 2 at least.
Dude, I haven't played my MetaQuest 1 in 3 years.
I've put so much time into my MetaQuest this week.
I see that. I'm looking at your list here of games
this week, and I probably played close to like 20-25 hours on my MetaQuest.
Well, you got like the Game Pass of VR games, right?
Yeah. So worth it.
Scott's VR is the cardboard box where he slides his phone in.
You laugh. I had one of those.
The Nintendo Labo one.
No, it wasn't the Nintendo. It was like made by like Android or Google.
Google made one.
Google, yeah. And I did it exactly once for about 10 minutes, and I was like, I did the Nintendo Labo once. And I really am kind of bummed that didn't take off because I thought that looked super fun to do. I had aspirations
cool, but just like they could have just made like a plastic headset.
Yeah.
So moving on. I played In Death Unchained.
Yes, this is when you were showing me when we were at the restaurant, right?
My arms are so sore. I played this for like 10 hours, like legitimately, like plugged it in, unplugged, like after it fully charged, kept playing because it's a medieval, like you are traversing through the heavens fighting things, like like banshees, like dead knights, like monks and everything, but it's like you're shooting a bow and arrow, and it's the full like knock an arrow, pull it back, and fire.
Yeah, so since it's VR, every shot you do, you literally have to pull it up, pull the string back, release it. Do you have to like reach back to a quiver?
No.
Okay.
So if you actually like rotate,
so unrealistic.
Well, if you rotate your bow a little bit and actually hit, like you have different like styles of arrows that you can use, and they all line up on the bow.
Oh, all right, Hawkeye.
Dude, it's funny you say that because like after playing this game for a while and like you get a rhythm down, like you're like, I feel like I'm either Hawkeye or Legolas. And you're just like, and like these guys aren't like the typical, like, we're just going to walk at you slow. Like, no, they run.
And this is a rogue, right?
Yeah, it's a roguelite. So it's just.
This one intrigues me. I love to shoot bow and arrows, man.
Dude,
I love games. Can you collect your arrows?
No.
Is it just unlimited supply?
Arrows of light.
So the basic arrows are unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
But like you can get lightning arrows, fire arrows, bomb arrows. Those ones are limited. But like when you kill like certain special enemies, you can get more of them. You can collect gold from killing the enemies and buy them in like certain areas. But to traverse around, you do fire an arrow of light from like one spot to another and like pour it around.
Mm-hmm.
It got to the point that at one point in time there was like 30 enemies on the screen.
Wow.
And so like I'm like firing like literally
Whack-a-mole.
like awkward angle, like firing behind myself with the arrow of light to like back up.
And that works?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm kind of intrigued. What about
it's so
blind firing behind him?
Yeah.
With a bow and arrow. Like,
yeah.
Like imagine doing that in real life. Ding.
Like it's funny because like there are areas where like there's like small corridors that like tee off and like guys will come from one way another way and they stack up, and so like they'll get stuck on each other sometimes, like because they're all trying to crowd in the hallway and you're just like picking them off. Headshots count for like extra damage.
So when I hear roguelike, I think that there's some kind of upgrade path, at least for that run. Is there anything like that in this, or is it?
So when you kill like X amount of certain enemies, like the special arrows like upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've got like level 3 of like a few different types of arrows. But the crazy thing is like not only do the arrows upgrade, but additional enemy types start appearing.
Okay.
So like early on, it's just like, okay, you've got like the monks that shoot bow and arrows at you, and then the knights that have swords. Now there's these like weird flying like Cupid demons that come at you. There's like witches that like,
are they as cute?
Oh, dude, these things are horrifying. Like they are nightmare fuel.
You said Cupid demons. I thought they were going to be.
Oh, they are demons. No, there's like all these like little zombie things too. I've made it
like
to this
specific arrows to take certain enemies out. Did you like no?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
Any arrow can kill anything. It's just some arrows do like a bomb effect that will like kill an area. Lightning will chain through multiple. I've made it to the second boss, which is Gabriel the Archangel, and like the bosses are huge.
Oh yeah.
So it's a lot of fun, man. Like,
are you a demon fighting angels, or are you an angel fighting angels? Like
I don't know. Like specifically, I don't know what my character is because you don't see your character ever. But I'm just gonna start mowing these things down, and
it's gonna be revealed at the very end after you beat the final boss that you are an angel and you just killed God.
I'm Doom Angel.
Doom Angel. I like it. Yeah, man, you're making me really want to try between that and Batman.
Dude, I'm telling you, like the MetaQuest 3 is really good. Like it's really good. They do need to fix the support for the Xbox stuff for it. It does not play well.
Oh yeah.
It is real laggy and buggy.
So are you playing that like streaming from your Xbox, or are you playing the cloud, or what are you doing?
It just you can either do the cloud or just straight streaming from the Xbox. So
if they can do that with a VR headset, why can't they do that with my Steam Deck?
I don't know.
Come on, let me do that, please.
I don't know. And then I also played real VR fishing.
All right, we all know how that's going to work. That's fine. We can move on.
It's pretty. It's real
I
pretty.
hate fishing games so much, man.
It's peaceful, man.
Scott. It's
I
just
hate
a game that's not
All
for
because
you.
it's a game that's not for you, man.
I hate fishing, just in general. It's just
Rude.
Well,
I just
fish
hate it.
too.
How are we going to deprive our fishing game listeners that content?
Both of them.
Yeah, all of them.
No, both of them.
All
So-
three of them.
Well, go ahead.
Jackson Hampton writes real quick here in the coming in from YouTube. Of the VR headsets, yeah, Quest 3 is the way to go. Got that, and the PSVR 2. Oh, so you're the one person that bought one.
We found one.
And the best VR game
There he
is
is.
Walkabout Mini Golf. Dude, I haven't tried a mini golf game, so that might be next on my list.
I wonder if Jackson can tell us, is that one where you actually stand up and putt? Or, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be kind of cool.
I'm sure.
Dude,
What?
going back to In Death Unchained, like, you remember how much of a workout you would get playing Pistol Whip?
Mm-hmm.
Even more intense.
Yeah.
Dude, I was drenched like after playing it for like a couple hours. I'm just like, I'm gross.
So me and Jacob playing racquetball, doing some running. CB's playing VR.
Right.
Just exercise and probably getting a better workout than
I'd
we
rather
are.
be doing that.
But real VR
I gotta play
fishing.
with Scott.
Yes, you do. It's 1-2-1 putting with super fun multiplayer. It's a blast. See, Scott, you got to get upgraded. Got to come to the newer stuff.
If I weren't saving up for a Switch 2, if I weren't on the hunt for a Wind Waker, Metroid Prime, GameCube,
dude, what
bundle.
are you worried about? You can wait on the Switch 2 because at some point in time within the next year, they're going to be like, oh, look, we've got the special edition Zelda Switch 2.
Yeah, but that one stays boxed. I can't play it.
You can buy 2, and then that could be the one that you play on and have a boxed one.
Now he's got to save up twice as much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's further down the road. He's got more time.
So tell us about real. Now, you've got written here in the document that it is real spelled REAL. Is that really how it's spelled, or is it REEL?
I'm pretty sure it is. I'm looking at my. Yes, it is REAL.
Interesting.
Real.
So, just this little simple game. I mean, you can go around the world to different areas fishing. They have like that area's actual like fish there. You can do deep sea fishing, river, lake. But you have this like cabin that is like your hub. And so everything that you catch, you can put in this big fish tank that's in there. And there's like the big fish tank, which is like for like regular like freshwater fish, and then if you go into the basement of this thing, there is a giant like swimming pool sized one for saltwater fish that you can keep a shark in.
You can catch a shark with a rod and reel.
Yeah,
actually you can.
Yeah.
There are people that do that. You've never seen like the weird old guys with like the giant like fishing poles that stand on the beach?
I've seen those guys, but I tend to ignore them because
sometimes they're fishing for like sharks.
I'm legitimately jealous of people that like fishing because, like, remember, like even like in old movies, like the kids just couldn't wait to go fishing, like it was or the guys going on a fishing trip, and it's just like this coolest thing. It is the most boring thing in the world to me.
Which is funny because all you ever talk about is how you want to unwind and relax.
Because I can't do it. That's why I can't unwind and relax, because unwinding and relaxing means doing nothing and accomplishing nothing. And even if I catch a fish, I just made more work for me to eat food that I don't like to eat, and it's gross. And you got to scale the fish.
You could throw the fish back.
Yeah, I was about to say like there's catch and release fishing.
So really accomplish nothing. It's not fun to do it, and then I let go the one thing that actually accomplished something.
Hang on. You did accomplish something. You accomplished relaxing.
It's very difficult for me to do that. Jackson is calling me out, saying what Midwest guy.
He's not wrong.
Because here's the
especially
thing.
somebody who came from Wisconsin.
That's the thing, is I feel like I've explained this in the past, but when I was a kid, I loved fishing. It was something cool to do. And then I'd go out in a boat with my stepdad to go fishing, and Couple hours in, this is great, and I was done. I'm like, I've had my fill for fishing for the day, but now I'm stuck out in the middle of a lake with a stepdad that wants to fish for another 4, 5, 6 hours, and I'm stuck.
Well, okay. See, here's the thing: you're not achieving like what you could legitimately do. Most people, when they go fishing, they drink.
Well, yeah.
So you could just be like, it's beautiful outside. You don't even need to catch anything. It's just an excuse to sit outside, relax, and drink.
He's out there with a rod and reel with no line. He's just sitting there casting, just drinking beer.
I would rather do that than mess with like sitting there watching a bobber go, come on, man, just go down, or reeling it in and wonder if anyway, can we stop talking about fishing?
But Paul Hyde also wants to put it, nothing kills your will to fish like ice fishing. 6 to 9 hours freezing your butt off.
Yeah, that's even making it worse. I hate cold.
See, I actually want to go ice fishing. I've never gone.
Enjoy. You can do it without me because I will not be ice fishing.
That is
I
an
grew up in
adventure I'm not
Wisconsin,
going on.
and ice fishing was obviously a big deal. I lived right on Whitewater Lake, and I'm not making this up. There was a bar that was right there on the lake that every year they had a truck that they had drained all of the fluid out of this truck. They drained everything out of it, and they used the same truck every year. They put it on the ice, probably about, 25 feet from the shore, and let it sit there. And then they all made bets on when the truck was going to fall into the lake. And it was like a big prize pool. And then they fish it out, and then they put it wherever, and they do the exact same thing the next year. Like that's like the most Wisconsin thing I remember.
See, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing lake fishing, Scott, you can bring your Switch with you and wait till you get a bite and play a game.
I mean, we're getting warmer, but still.
Knowing Scott's luck, he would drop that Switch in the hole.
Exactly.
That's why you sit far enough away from the bank, like the edge of the water.
He's going ice fishing. Do you know how to ice fish?
And then like you
drill a hole and then you sit over it.
Have you ever tried to hold a controller with mittens? Like that's not. I'm not. Come on, dude.
Well, I mean, just even regular fishing, you could just bring a Switch and
or I could just stay at home and play the games. I mean, that.
But then we're achieving the gaming outsider.
Oh, God. We'll do that on your porch
with a gaming insider.
Can I talk about the games I've been playing now?
The one, sure.
It's just Final Fantasy. Let's just move on. It's good.
No. I got to mention very quickly, just because I can't not aggravate the crap out of Jacob and mention
Baldur's Gate
for a second. No, I didn't play Baldur's Gate this week.
Balatro.
The CB I found.
I'm on my 74th win. I've got 77 jack.
Will you shut up? I found a seed, CB, that I got to share with you that gives you 52 10 of spades.
It's funny because I know the seed for 52 ace of hearts.
Oh, really? You have to share that one with me. Maybe I'll have better luck because I've got to win with it, but I keep trying to find a way to do the exponents, and I cannot get that again because there's a card to unlock that you have to score 100 million chips in one hand.
Oh,
I really want to do that.
I got that one.
I did not. I did get the discard 5 jacks at one time this week, so I'm getting there.
The one I haven't got is the pitch 7 5 7 of clubs.
The way to do that is the same way I did the jacks, which is to use the erratic deck and just keep restarting a new one until you get a lot of that card.
There's no fun with that.
Nah.
Do it the old school way. Just play through.
Or, use copies and all that kind of good stuff. Anyway, the game I really wanted to talk about, I mentioned last week that I started the original Final Fantasy. It's not fair to call it the original, but it is Final Fantasy 1, the Pixel Remastered. I did beat it last night, which was a really cool feeling. However, CB, I don't know how long it's been since you played the original, but from what I hear from Brandon of Final Fantasy Renaissance is that the final boss of the game is kind of a pushover. He was really pretty easy. He is not in Pixel Remastered. In the original game, he's got about 2,000 HP, and they changed that to about 20,000 HP in Pixel Remaster. So I had to do some grinding. I was one-shotting regular enemies in the final dungeon, and then I just got wiped. with the final boss. So,
well, it's just like if you know the way to one-shot Ganon in the original Legend of Zelda.
I mean, there was no one shot. You had to have the silver arrow, and
There's
still had
still
to
a
do
way.
it.
There's still a way to do it.
A glitchy way to do it, probably.
Yeah, but still a way to do it.
Anyway,
if I rub my butt on this wall for 5.5 minutes, Ganon gets hurt enough where I throw an apple at him and he dies.
If I crouch in this corner and punch the wall and eat the pork chop, I can magically tornado through the wall.
I think you're describing Simon's Quest.
Yeah, I
am. So I didn't realize that I was doing well with the achievements until last night, and I realized I only had 3 left. So I accomplished one of them tonight. There's an achievement to open every chest in the game, which you could imagine going back and trying to find those would be a pain in the butt. But thankfully, the map that they give you in the game tells you how many chests you have in each one, so you can just know where to go. I've got 1 achievement left, and I'm so frustrated. Did you ever find the enemy war mech in the original Final Fantasy? It is right before the second to last boss. Is it pronounced Tiamat? Tiamat. There's like a bridge that you have to
I'm vaguely remembering war mech,
and it just randomly appears. I did some research on it. It is a 1 in 64 chance. Somewhere between 64 and 100. I can't remember if it's 64 or 100 chance for him to spawn. I have probably spent 4 hours on that one pathway grinding, trying to get that dude to unlock, and he has yet to appear. So good old RNG, man.
Happens.
That's some people have said that they've encountered him like on their first time going in there and stuff, and it's really, but that's like the one thing I have left to do.
So what's next?
Well, 2 actually. I'm going to do 2 at the same time.
The news. Oh
no, you have Final Fantasy Renaissance next.
That's one of the ones I'm talking about. Final Fantasy Renaissance. I talked to Brandon, who, by the way, I convinced him. I said, "Hey, dude, you should play the Pixel Remaster," and then I just finished that myself, and I'm going to play Final Fantasy Renaissance while he plays Pixel Remaster, and then we can kind of compare notes and do like a Patreon episode. And he said sold. So he's going to do that. And if you want to join us,
sure. I'll play the NES version.
Yeah. I don't want to go that far back. I want to play his version because I feel guilty enough that I played Pixel Remaster first, but I really wanted to play it closer to the original so I can really appreciate everything that he's done. And I wasn't going to have the patience to do the original.
It's funny because my Final Fantasy Renaissance is right in front of me.
Well, you have a PC, so I found that I can't use it on Mac right now. Apple is making it difficult for Mac users. There is a way to put it on your Steam Deck, but it involves a bunch of stuff that I'm not familiar with how to do. So I'm going to be bringing my Steam Deck to D&D on Thursday, and Kevin is going to take it and get it on there for me because I really want to play that portably. And then I can then I'm going to move on to Final Fantasy 2 on the Pixel Remaster collection. I've already been reading up on builds and how that game works. It already seems vastly different.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that.
Jump.
So there you have it. That is the games we've been catching up on. What do you guys say we go ahead and jump into the week's news?
Bye.
All right, a few stories to talk about this week. First off, Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta Snake Eater's release date was leaked on PSN this week. Civilization 7 is coming to VR. Had to get that in there for CB. And Warner Brothers seems to be in trouble, but they do have a plan. CB, let's let you go first. What do you want to talk about?
I love when companies tell me they have a plan.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Like just a little AT reference there.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with the Hunt for October reference.
No. When a good plan comes together, that's an A-Team reference.
Russians don't take a dump without a plan, son.
So yeah, Warner Brothers. They're flashbang. So yeah, they've had some issues with David Haddad leaving.
Haddad.
Haddad leaving. Suicide Squad being an utter turd, losing them $200 million. Multiverses also being another turd, $100 million loss. And Harry Potter Quidditch Champions, which was
I forgot about.
I was like, was that on console or was that on phone? I don't remember this ever coming out.
I remember it being announced and everybody getting excited about it, and then I forgot it even released, man.
I don't think anybody was excited about it. Everybody was excited about like, hey, when is Hogwarts Legacy going to have Quidditch?
Yeah, it was kind of weird that wasn't in there, but who knows? Maybe
did Warner Brothers do Hogwarts Legacy?
Did what?
Huh?
Did Warner Brothers do Hogwarts Legacy?
I think so. Yeah.
So that they come off like this super good and then just immediately like smash their face into the wall again.
It was like the best reviewed, best-selling game of the year.
Last year.
Yeah.
So one of the things was with Hogwarts Legacy, there was a bunch of complaints that they didn't have Quidditch in there. Like in the very beginning of the game, there's like, oh yeah, this year we're not doing Quidditch because of the accidents that happened last year. And so I'm assuming that left everybody wanting the Quidditch game, and then they were given it, and then no one played it.
Yeah,
too little, too late, man. Should have put it in the game. It would have been a bigger hit, probably.
Yeah. Also, the Wonder Woman game switched directors earlier this year, and the project is being rebooted from the ground up. Never a good sign. Smells a bit Duke Nukem Forever-ish.
Hey, worked for Metroid Prime 4, or fingers crossed.
Yeah,
it worked for Metroid
fingers
Prime 4.
crossed there, Scott.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Metroid Prime 4. Play me.
Never.
Oh, I will.
No.
I will be playing you. Jacob, if you never played one, you cannot talk smack about Metroid Prime. It's awesome.
So, but going back,
I meant a horribly rebooted version of it.
Oh God, now that Metroid Prime 4, the new Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh my God! Don't that better not. You better not.
Cursed. But Wonder Woman has already cost Warner $100 million, and now it's being rebooted, so more dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently is also will be a traditional action game instead of the rumored revised Nemesis system, which Warner Brothers, I'm pretty sure they're still sitting on the Nemesis system. So like you have an utter cash cow there. Please use it properly.
And we haven't seen the Nemesis system since anything else since those two games.
I know.
Like this would have been in a Marvel game. That's perfect. And they're not going to do it. It's what everybody wants, and no, we're just going to do a regular old.
Maybe not as Wonder Woman. I don't.
Well, everybody who ever played Shadow of Mordor and War for Mordor.
Shadow of War.
Just Mordor. It's all Mordor. But the Nemesis system, like everybody's like, please bring this back. And they're just like, no, we don't wanna. No. No. Warner Brothers getting in their own way again.
So what's their plan, CB?
So their CEO is now going to be focusing on 4 projects. A sequel to Hogwarts Legacy, which I'm sure they'll bumble. Mortal Kombat, which they continue to bumble. Game of Thrones, which where's the second season of the Telltale game, folks? And DC, in particular Batman, which would be a single player game and years away.
That's the reason I put this story on there, is a new Batman game, like an Arkham style Batman game.
We just got one. It's on VR. It's really good.
A flat screen one.
Why? The third one was a turd.
I liked Arkham Knight. That was the one with the tank Batmobile, right?
Yeah.
It was okay.
I never understood why
aggressively average.
I had fun with that. That was actually one of the first games we talked about on this very podcast. That's how long ago that was. That was 10 years ago, guys.
Yeah, and then they followed
a scary thought.
Yeah.
Well, and then what they do is follow it up with like Kill the Justice League and Gotham Knights.
I can't talk to those because I didn't play them. I listened to the critics, and I've heard some people that picked up Justice League, Kill the Justice League, when it was like $5 on Black Friday, and they're saying that it's actually really fun. I haven't played it.
Gotham Knights that I bought day one and never opened.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but like, Warner Brothers is another one of those companies. I wish they would just get out of their own way and just, hey, like, we have these great properties. Who wants to go the Warhammer route? Like, we have this great property. You want to make a game for us? Cool, you do it. And just take a cut. Because obviously doing it in-house, they are failing miserably.
I mean, well, that's why they're in trouble, right?
But I mean, clearly they can't do it, so maybe somebody else should.
Good luck getting that, Brian. They're probably grasping to keep on.
They have enough lawyers in their back pocket that they could write some ironclad contract to be like, you make the game, you get 60% of the profit, we get 40% of the profit. If Sony and Marvel, well, Sony and Disney can come together to make a Spider-Man movie, I mean, come on.
That's a good point.
Warner Brothers and somebody else can bite the bullet.
Yeah, like at this point in time, like Warner Brothers, you're digging yourself a deeper hole. You're already $100 million in the hole for Wonder Woman, and that's not even close to being released.
I just think it's interesting because all of these big dog developers or publishers are struggling right now. I mean, Warner Brothers, Ubisoft.
You already know the problem though. They're trying to turn all these great story-driven properties into multiplayer or live service games that no one wants to buy.
I think nobody...
Don't even argue. Don't even argue it.
I'm not... Dude, I don't want them. I don't want these multiplayer games, but we are also not the up-and-coming generation of kids that grew up on Fortnite and don't know how to play games by themselves without their friends.
First off, every single time they just keep licensing the things to Fortnite, and the kids are like, "Yay!" And then you have Warner execs who are so like Warner and majority of the game executives out there who are so out of touch. They're like, "We should make our own Fortnite or a live service game," and then it fails miserably. And they're like, "It's because we put out a quality product and you guys just didn't buy it." No, you put out a crap product and we weren't interested in buying it because it was a crap product.
I don't know. I didn't play Concord. Did either of you guys?
You remember playing? I mean, you remember playing the Avengers game?
I didn't actually.
Oh, that was a turd. Like of all of the superhero games that have come over the past like 10 years. The 2 Spider-Man games were good, and Guardians of the Galaxy was good.
Guardians of the Galaxy was great.
So
man, what a frenetic game that was. I forgot about that.
But see, that's the thing is that wasn't a live service game. It wasn't multiplayer, and I'm like, cool, it did good.
Wasn't that our game of the year?
It was.
Yeah. Wow, that was a while ago.
And but that game got rave reviews. And for some reason, they're just like, hey, look, it worked one time. Let's go back to making another live service game.
What's the new one? Is it Marvel Rivals?
Rivals?
Rivals, is that what it is? The Overwatch-like?
Clone.
Overwatch clone.
How's everybody... How's that doing? Like, I assume that...
Good.
It's doing good, but again, like, you're going into that knowing, like, okay, this is an Overwatch clone. Whereas, like, oh, a Wonder Woman game? You're going to make it live service? Nope, I'm out.
I think they're not making it live service. They're just making it.
They'll try. The Justice League, they try.
It reminds me, like, back in the 360 and PS3 era when, like, we'd have these great single-player games and then they would just tack on some kind of multiplayer thing in there. And we're like, why? We don't want that.
Yeah, no.
You know? Unless it was Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, then we wanted it.
See, there's always going to be unless it's Last of Us, unless it's what was the other one?
But that's the thing is
the BioShock one.
Did the Last of Us live service game just fail too?
Or it never got off the ground.
Yeah, it never got off the ground. Yeah. But that's the problem is
probably for the best.
All because there was lightning in the bottle once doesn't mean every single subsequent game that you make afterwards has to be the exact same format.
I agree with you, but that worked in the past. When something did well, they made something similar to it and it sold. But nowadays there are so many more options that it makes it not viable.
You look at those 360 PS3 era games that sold like gangbusters. They were single player games that you added a function onto.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to that format, and I guarantee you sales will probably start skyrocketing.
I feel like those people that nowadays that really want that multiplayer experience are the ones that are going to be attached to something that already exists, like a Call of Duty or a Fortnite or PUBG. Are people still playing PUBG? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Warframe. The ones that are already established. I feel like it's just too late to
But
try to do a new one.
that's why I don't want an entire multiplayer thing. Give me a single player game
Mhm.
that has a small multiplayer game attached to it.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the majority of the people that love these properties are people our age who
Mhm.
have money to spend. But like Fortnite, I can play Fortnite for free.
Mhm.
Majority of
but the-
Fortnite is off the microtransactions.
The single player model though doesn't make you any money. That's the problem.
It
You
does.
have
You put out a game that people want to play.
Well, yeah, once, but that's it. But
It doesn't
companies,
have a continual stream of income like a
Well, yeah.
multiplayer game
but
does.
the
doesn't mean-
multiplayer games with battle passes and skins to sell and
Mhm.
the grindy aspect of how some of these games play keep players not even engaged, but just continue playing.
But we're
And
also
as
the
long as their
mind.
numbers stay up. As long as their numbers stay up and they can continue to say, hey, this game was successful because we have so many concurrent players, they'll keep getting investors
But-
and they'll keep getting people to buy skins. And that's
But right there,
basically it.
how many games over the past couple of years have we talked about? Like, oh, this new multiplayer game launched to like 10,000 concurrent players, and then 3 weeks later it was dead.
Because every single one is coming out to be like a clone. Every single one has a battle pass. Every single one has, the seasons aren't terrible, but they all kind of feel almost the same. I mean, when you have every single game that just comes out to be like a reskinned version of
Well,
a game
Exactly.
previous to it.
Madden sells like great every year. You know what I mean? You got to keep in mind too that outside of maybe Jake, I'm not knocking you, dude. Outside of maybe Jake, most of us on this show are looking to play a game, get through it, finish it, so we can move on to the next one. Jake, you like to put 5,000 hours into Skyrim. You know what I mean? And like wring it for all it's worth. And there are a lot of people out there that is what they want from their games, is they want to play that one game and wring as much of it out of it as they can.
I'm not disagreeing, because you have your types of gamers, that your people that are like, I'm gonna buy Madden, the show, and a Call of Duty. That's all I'm gonna buy in a year to play a game.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have your people that play like your big expansive games, your Skyrim, or then you have like me and Scott that are like blitz players that just like smash through every game that we can find.
No, Blitz doesn't exist on Xbox anymore. I wish it did.
But see, at the same time, even with the sports games, if they have a different mode that's not just the normal arcade mode, fine. That's what people are buying. They're buying that for the new experience of the new mode they're going for. But if you played 5 or 6 hours of a game that was just a reskinned version of the game you had just got finished, how bored would you get with playing games?
I wouldn't, because I would move on to the next one after I'm done.
But I mean, if it was just a reskinned version of the exact same thing.
I mean, give me an example.
Madden.
I can't. I'm not saying like we have a specific example. I'm saying like if you played Zelda and then you played a game after it that was exactly the same game, the exact same Zelda format and everything, but it was just reskinned. Like you knew everything that was coming, right? But
3D dot heroes.
3D dot game heroes.
But if every game was coming out was exactly the same thing, that's what's happening in the market right now. Every single thing is the live service. Every single thing is battle pass. Everything is multiplayer. They're pushing for people to spend more time together, which it's not even about the togetherness. It's about the showy off part of it. You want them to buy skins so they show off to their friends, hey, look what skin I have.
Yeah.
It's not about the individual player anymore. It's about getting people to interact with each other, so there's a competition between players.
So there's FOMO.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say everything, because there's tons and tons of games
what was it?
games.
2 years ago, they thought that the first player, the single player storytelling model of video games was dead. And then Elden Ring came out and blew up. And it
came out during COVID.
Well, it doesn't matter. It still put
No,
all
because
those,
we were all excited for that, like when they first announced it.
right.
Mhm.
But there were a bunch of people saying that the first player aspect of games was dead, and that shouldn't even be allowed in video games anymore. And then Elden Ring proved them wrong.
Yep.
And there's plenty of games that are still coming out that are single player, but finding those among all of the AAA titles that want to have you grind or spend thousands of dollars on is really hard.
It's because you have, again, companies like Warner that are sitting on these awesome properties that they're refusing to do anything other than live service garbage with.
Right.
I don't know what the future holds. I really don't. I hope it's more single player games, but
Well, I hope you do have an idea of what the future holds. That's what our comments tonight are.
no, I know what I want
But
from the
here's the-
future.
Here's the problem, though. Like you're gonna have Warner Brothers that's gonna sit here and keep pissing the opportunity away until they have to lay off a bunch of people. We're all gonna be sad about a bunch of layoffs. Then they're gonna do a massive sell-off of all these properties, and the properties are gonna wind up in the hands of a bunch of indie developers who will make good games, but like it's not what it could have been.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Jake, what other story would you like to talk about, sir?
Oh, let's see. Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta finally getting a release date, or at least a leaked date. I'm super excited about this game. Snake Eater was one of those games when I was growing up that was just, I couldn't stop playing it. I had to know everything. I had to be immersed in the world at all times. It hurt my
Man, I
feelings.
fell off at 3. I played 1 and 2, and then I fell off at 3.
Oh,
I-
you missed a
it's-
great game.
It's funny because I played 1, 2, 4, and 5.
You just skip 3 entirely?
Oh,
Isn't this the one with the infamous like ladder that's like
yes.
forever long?
Oh
Yeah.
God. I talk about this ladder all the time. Every chance I get, I talk about this ladder. We went to the video game music in Chicago, and they brought this song up, and I was like, oh man, this beats the climbing a ladder,
Oh yeah.
because it's the ladder sequence is as long as the song is, so it's like 3 or 4 minutes, and
Oh,
you're just climbing the ladder.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. But no, I'm super glad that this game is going to come out. We saw the teaser trailer later last year,
Mhm.
last year, and since then I've been excited. So it finally getting an actual date makes me have something to look forward to.
So yeah, the release date allegedly is August 28th of this year. It hasn't been officially confirmed by Konami or Sony yet. It technically could still be a placeholder date. However, as of today, that something popped up on Konami's website with the exact same date. So it seems, it's probably going to be that date.
Seems mostly legit for right now.
Mostly
Are
legit.
are we reaching an age where we're like, there's like third party people like forcing, like doing leaks that are forcing the actual developers?
Oops,
to-
I
Yeah.
accidentally.
Oops. I didn't mean to put that out there. Now you're
You
going to have to confirm it.
You mean pulling a Ryan Reynolds?
Sure.
Just let me oops, somebody leaked the Deadpool trailer from the movie that we were gonna make.
And look what happened.
Right.
You remember that? Man, that was like, why
When
can't we
that
have a Deadpool movie like that? And then we
So-
did.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, we're just gonna make the full-on scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Cinema magic.
It also looks like it possibly could be coming to Switch 2 in addition to Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, which is interesting. Again, we don't know full details of the Switch 2, but man, I mean, I'm not going to play that on a Switch 2.
No.
Like, sorry, it's not going to happen. But
But before we move on to the next one, Paul Hine, yes, WB has no games queued up for the next 3 to 7 years.
I mean, there's no way Hogwarts Legacy doesn't come out in the next 3 years, is it? There's no way. It's been 3 years. What, 2-3 years now?
Here's the problem: in 3 years, you're already talking about the next generation.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do the whole like, oh, we're gonna delay it to retool it for the next console. Like that's the problem is big releases right now. We're starting to hit that bubble where it's like, ooh, do you just wait?
Yeah.
The one good thing about Hogwarts Legacies that I can think of, if a second one came out, they've already got the foundation of Hogwarts there. So they really shouldn't change anything inside Hogwarts or even maybe on the grounds itself.
You can do like small tweaks.
I mean, you
like,
could open up spaces. You could say like you were never able to open this door in the first one. Now you can open this door, or you can go here, you can go there.
Yeah, but you still got all the assets.
Right. You still have this foundation that is like it should be a easier start, but like hopefully there's going to spend more time on the story.
More ray tracing, more light beams, light beams. Michael Bay it.
The light rays coming off the candle need to hit my cape flowing at certain angles to shine light on the window. And
slow down, John Woo.
Stop that.
I got to mention before I talk about my story very quickly, as is tradition on this podcast, news happens the day after we record. Jackson Hampton in the comments reminded me that there's a state of play for PlayStation tomorrow. So by the time you guys hear this, you'll have some new information from that.
State of play will have happened.
Yeah, right. But I did want to mention quickly, I'm surprised CB didn't take this story because he loves VR so much. But I read this week that Civilization 7 is coming to VR, and I am kind of fascinated by this concept because if you look at some of the screenshots, the way this works is it looks like a tabletop game. Like you were like, and you see the other leaders like gathering around the table. You know, that's just a cool concept to me. And I think they even said it's going to have multiplayer, but you can only play with other MetaQuest 3 users. So you like, if I'm playing on Xbox, I can't play with you on MetaQuest 3. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. I'm probably not going to pick up this game. I still have Civilization 6 on my Switch that I've never played. You know what I mean? So like,
as long as Gandhi can launch nukes.
Oh my goodness.
I'm happy about that.
And it's going to have virtual reality and mixed reality modes. So there's different ways to play this game. I don't know. I just the idea of like looking down at this map in VR
and being able to manipulate it.
Yeah, that just sounds really cool. Because man, I loved the original Civilization so much. I never got into the later ones except for maybe Civ Rev. Civilization Revolution was really good.
I played 1, 2, and 3 a lot.
Yeah, and they keep making changes and all that kind of stuff. I worry that they're so complex now that I'm just going to be lost in the shuffle because there's so much more happening with them than.
But Civilization has always had a great learning curve to it, like those first few levels, where they're like, "Okay, we're gonna build a house now."
Yeah.
So I mean, they do have that great like tutorial that they do. I'm gonna be honest. I already queued up Civ 7 on my wish list for my MetaQuest 3.
Did you? All right. Let me know. I'd be curious to hear how that is.
Just because I've been doing some of like the MetaQuest like live stuff that they do. Like I watched a concert the other day on there. So like
what'd you watch?
It was DJ Tiesto at Red Rocks.
Oh.
So
I don't know who that is.
It's DJ. It's one of the largest one of the biggest like DJs in the world. I
thought his name was DJ. I didn't realize
DJ Tiesto. Like Tiesto.
Hey, DJ. Adama DJ.
Oh. But no, it's like some of the integration things that they're trying to do for entertainment is like really cool. But having a game like Civilization on VR is like a really cool idea, and I hope it's executed well because there's so many other board games that they could just easily port over.
Yeah, especially like if you're playing with other people online, and if they get the technology good enough where I'm seeing other people standing around the table that look like you or look like Jacob or look like Zach.
Why are you pointing at the screen?
I'm just very excited.
You're telling me that I could flip a table of Monopoly and not get in trouble with my wife?
What was that game we played on PC on Steam? It was like board game. It was like it was a client, and then you could actually buy different board games to put into it, and it had
that everybody was using during like COVID.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
But it was like you could get like 4 copies at once for like $20 or something. And but yeah, there was a button to just flip the table. It would all reset automatically, but it was just like F this game. It was pretty great.
I'm really hoping though that this is something that can like take off Like there's some of those like company board meeting things that you can do
Mm-hmm.
in MetaQuest, which is like super weird. They're like, because it's kind of like how Jake has his background set, but there's like, you can make your avatar and they all sit at a boardroom table, but you can put that boardroom table and be like in the middle of the rainforest. And I'm
Yeah, I
like,
don't wanna
yes,
do that.
let's have a legitimate board meeting in the middle of a
Or
rainforest.
what's
We're
that?
in
I keep
MetaQuest.
I keep hearing about another like Bridge Crew game that came out recently, which that would be super fun. Just like
I I still own the copy for PSVR 1 of Star Trek Bridge Crew. And
no,
I
it wasn't
still
Star
want to
Trek. It's a newer one that just came out recently. That's not called Bridge Crew, but it's something like that.
I know,
Like
but I still never was able to get a 4-man team together to play that. I'm mad.
that'd be pretty cool. Anyway, that is the week's news. Let's go ahead and move on and talk about the new games that we've been checking out. What do you guys say?
Sure.
I'm not in control of this. What do you? Scott, technical difficulties. Push the button.
I just played the intro of it, the video. You guys didn't see it?
No.
All right. Let's first off talk about some of the new games that are coming out this coming week. Tomb Raider 4 through 6 remastered coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC on Valentine's Day. Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2, PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC on February 14th. Avowed Xbox Series consoles and PC February 18th. I feel like that one's been long awaited. Lost Records, Bloom, and Rage Tape 1, PS5, Xbox Series consoles, PC, February 18th. And lastly, Cabernet, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, February 20th. Jacob, any of these you plan to check out?
I'm gonna have to agree with Jackson. Avowed looks really cool. I'm not entirely sure what it's all about, but
I'm
the
not
premise of
either.
it looks awesome.
I got Skyrim vibes from looking at the trailer. Maybe it was just when he was throwing fire. I was like,
a little bit, but yeah, no, that's definitely what I'm going to be looking forward to.
yeah. CB, how about you?
Avowed, but at the same time, Lost Records kind of gives me
Yeah.
that Life is Strange vibe.
Same here. That was going to be mine. I have a lot of question marks about Avowed, but I feel like I haven't played a game like Lost Records in a while. Granted, I skipped the last one just because it didn't interest me too much, but it's been a while.
Oh, the last Life is Strange. True Colors.
True Colors. I know Alyssa
played
played it, really liked it, but
I played it. It was interesting. It was the one before that I was kind of like, it was okay.
was that the one where you played as the kid with the little
was-
boy?
Yeah, you played as a kid, but there was no achievements for it.
Oh, maybe
I'm
that's why.
I'm
we're this game is worthless to me.
I was like, oh no, I don't want to play this. There's no achievements. Why?
Yeah. So yeah, that's I think. I mean, I'm intrigued by Avowed, but I'm gonna wait to hear what Jake has to say about it because I got enough RPG goodness going on right now.
You act like I'm built to
will
review
also
games.
You are.
Yeah. So speaking of new games, Scott, you've been playing a game called Ruffy in the Riverside. Tell me what it's like playing as an Ewok in Slime Rancher Land.
Boy, well, this is just a demo. The demo actually released today, but I got my hands on the demo before it released to the public, and I am really impressed by this game. First off, it's hand drawn. I did not know this until after I finished the demo. Everything in this game is hand drawn, which is rad. But it does it does a really unique art style. I think this was done by some other company with a game that I feel like didn't make it take off too well, but this one looks really special. Imagine Paper Mario, but instead of turn-based combat, you're doing platforming in a 3D dimension. So all the characters, all the environments are flat. Kind of like, what's that game you've been playing, Jake?
Sulfur,
yeah. But that's more like a Doom-ish game, right? It's more of a shooter, right?
Yeah.
Ruffy in the Riverside is like old school 64, Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64, Banjo-Kazooie, those style of games.
Crash Bandicoot.
Sure.
64.
Is Crash Bandicoot 64?
No.
It's just very cute. It's not anything that's super overly difficult. It's just very beautiful. It's very inviting. I think the line I used in my review of this is that it oozes with charm and begs to be explored.
Ooh.
It just really makes you in the demo. There's like these invisible walls because there's like it just says demo on it, like in this holographic wall or whatever, and you can see all this cool stuff in the distance. And I want to go explore. I want to go see what that is, but you can't because it's just the demo. But it follows that formula like Mario 64, where you need this many stars to open up this door. So you're going into each world, collecting the stars, and then coming back and spending those stars to open the doors. But it does something a little bit unique with the gameplay as well. It does like this copy and paste mechanic where you can highlight anything in the environment, press the copy button, and then aim it at something else and hit the paste button, and he kind of throws it out and turns that into there. So for instance, there are steel crates all over the place. So say there's a wall of steel crates. You can't get past it. I copy a tree. I shoot that at the steel crates, and then they turn into wooden crates. And since they're wooden crates, I can destroy them with my melee attack and either bust through it, or I can make a set of stairs to get up to the next level. Simple things like that aren't going to break your brain, but it's just very satisfying. It makes you feel like you discovered something. It makes you feel a little bit like you broke the game. You know what I mean? And every puzzle that I did felt very unique. There was another puzzle that I did where you go into this like city square marketplace kind of thing, and there are 4 people that are shopping for art, and they all have blank canvases by them, and you go talk to them and they tell you, I'm looking for a scene with flowers. So you go to all these paintings, you copy the one with flowers, and you paste it onto his art, and he's very happy. And you got to do that 4 times to unlock. You know what I mean? It's not anything it's very fitting for the theme going in this game. If
Okay.
that makes sense. There's even sections where you're in a 3D world, but plastered on a wall is almost like a chalk drawing on a wall, and you have to figure out how to get into that. And now you're running around in that chalk drawing, kind of like in Mario. What was the
I was gonna
last
say
3D?
like a Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, but a little bit, yeah. But I'm thinking those sections in Mario, not Galaxy. What's the last one? Mario Odyssey. Remember, like those sections where you're on the wall and doing some mini platforming,
Yeah.
stuff like that. There's other puzzles where somewhere in the world they'll give you a pattern, and you have to go find a stack of crates and destroy them in such a way that it makes this pattern that you did. I don't know. It's just really fun, inventive. And I can't get over the art style, how appealing it was, because the world moves very smoothly, but your character has that Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse movement. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like on the 2s or on the 3s,
Yeah.
which I normally don't like. And I just found it absolutely charming in this game. Really digging it. You can download the demo right now on Steam. It's absolutely free. It'll probably take you like 25 minutes to get through and see what it's all about. But I'm adding this to my wish list. I'm excited for this one. It's making me happy like those older games did back when I played them. I'm not blown away by I'm moving a character in 3D like I was back then. But that sense of discovery and stuff is really good. And it's also coming to Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and Switch 2. They confirmed in the release today. So
Well,
developer
very cool.
is Zacharias Laboratories, publisher is Fifen Games, and it was provided to me by Pirate PR. So again, it's
Still
Ruffy and the Riverside. What's that?
Still an Ewok.
He does kind of look like an Ewok. I didn't even consider that till you said that, but really, really cool game. Jacob,
Now it's my turn.
you are our resident Monster Hunter Wilds fanatic. You love Monster Hunter. You've been playing it since the original, right? Like PSP.
Yep.
And you love this game.
PS2, please.
Oh, it was PS2?
Yeah.
Okay. My bad.
You're
You are
bad.
playing the demo for this on PC, correct?
Yeah.
Game's also coming to Xbox and PlayStation. Now, is this because you played this before back when it was having some issues and there were things not loading, whatever. So
It's
what
not
is this? Is
finished.
this like still a beta or what?
Yeah, it's just another beta,
Okay.
kind of like an updated beta. It's still having some issues apparently from what I can find online. It's got some terrible optimization things that are happening with it, and so the graphics are not loading in the way that they're supposed to be loading in. But at the same time, they are talking about the technology needed to run the game. It is going to take newer, almost like nowadays technology to run this game. I think it's going to be my PC to run at what I want it to run at is going to be probably a $500 to $1,000 upgrade to run the game at where I want it to run.
Wow.
Depending on the parts that I choose, I pick up and stuff. A smarter man would have downloaded it for the PlayStation since I have a 5 and saw how it ran on there, but I did not think about it at the time. I'm just really upset that even with going through and playing with the graphics and dumbing it down as far as I possibly can, I still cannot get this game to load anything. And as soon as the game requires loading, it breaks. And so Jackson says it runs great on the PS5, and so maybe that may be the route that I have to go, which is going to be hard because my wife does not have a PS5.
But that brings up a whole new issue. Like, majority of actual PCs are more powerful than a PS5, but a PS5 is running this better than average PCs.
Yeah, so
there's a problem there.
So I have a GTX 1660, and it runs at the low end fairly well. It runs high FPSs, but the game doesn't look great. But I found an article that says the next gen of the NVIDIA products, the RTX 4060, can run the game roughly at 60 frames on medium graphics, but to run it at the full graphics that would make it look the way that they want it to look, you're going to need the newest model, the RTX 5080, and that's a $1,300 graphics card.
So,
and
you buy 2 PS5s for that.
Right.
So what you're telling me is it's the new Crisis.
It might be the new Crisis, but I mean that could just go to an optimization problem, which would suck. But I mean, that's not really an argument that's been made in gaming for a long time, up until probably about 2 or 3 years ago. No one's really cared about how optimized games were, and now we're still trying to run games on lesser equipment, but still have better graphics. But it all has to deal with how well the game loads itself, and that's part of the problem. Is this game is trying to load so many things all at once and to a certain level that it requires more power.
So did you get a chance to play it at all, or like what?
Oh no, I played it. Yeah, you can get it to run. It doesn't look great. It doesn't load in all the way. But the gameplay itself looks awesome. They've done slight tweaks to what appears to be like every level. Oh man, he's gonna age my computer. Yeah, it is a 7-year-old card.
You just got called out, son.
I feel like I just bought my computer like 2 years ago, but apparently time flies. So yeah, it might be time for updating, but I don't want to, I only spent maybe $1,500 on my computer as is. Now I got to put another $1,500 into just the graphics card, and nothing else will be updated. But
and now you know why I don't like the PC game.
But depending on the parts that I put in, I could probably spend $1,000 and get it to where it needs to be, at least for the medium size of it. Because again, the game doesn't look bad. Even when I'm playing it, the game doesn't look bad. It just requires some finesse with the settings of the graphics and all that kind of stuff. But no, there's so much that I'm looking forward to with Wilds that it is nuts.
All right, man. Monster.
I'm sorry. I was reading one of the comments. I didn't know because we were talking about it, but no, that there are the changing weather environments, the extra characters in it, the extra moves that they have in the weapons. There's just little nuances that they have been making small updates to everything, and it feels like an expanded version of Worlds, and it feels better. I'm still really excited for this game, but I'm fighting with myself. Do I buy it for the PlayStation 5 because now I know it's going to work, but I figured it would work anyway, or do I upgrade my computer so I can play it at a level that it may not need to be played at, but it's going to look pretty.
Fair enough. There you go.
What
Monster Hunter
graphics card did you say that you had?
1660. It's an old card.
I was about to say my laptop has an RTX 4060 in it.
Yeah, that's a newer one. Well, yeah,
Wow.
you just bought your laptop though, like a year
Last
ago.
year?
Yeah,
But it's
year.
a laptop.
6 years after he bought his
But it's a
computer.
laptop.
All right, I got one other review to share with you guys. I sat down with Mark to talk about a game he's checking out for us. We're going to play that for you right now. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. Before we move on to our topic, want to say hello to a new Facebook member. His name is J-Rod. Don't know how to pronounce his last name. Gingerich? Does that sound right? J-Rod Gingerich. He joined over at facebook.com/groups/the GoCast. Also, join our Discord server. There's a link in the show notes. Do us a favor. If you were listening to this episode and you like what you hear, drop us a review on Apple Podcasts. That helps us get the word out there. Would really appreciate it. And lastly, our website, thegamingonsider.com. There you can find all of our episodes as well as our written content. My reviews of Blade Chimera and Ruffy and the Riverside's demo are up, as is Thomas's review of Nairi, Rising Tide, Mark's review of The Stone of Madness, and Sean's review of Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles. With that, let's go ahead now and jump into our From the Outside In topic. All right. A couple weeks ago, we discussed what we wanted from Xbox in the future, so it seemed only fitting to take the next logical step and do the same for Sony. They may be ahead of the game in the console market at the moment, but that doesn't mean we don't have high hopes for PlayStation as well. What would you guys like to see Sony do as we get closer to the next generation of video game consoles? CB, let's start with you.
Course correct their attitude on how they treat their customers.
Oh, man. Okay.
Sound butthurt.
I own a PS5. I've owned a PS5 since day one. I just think the way they treat their customers is a little lacking.
How so? What do you mean?
I mean, it started all the way with day one where it's like, you still don't own your console. We do. We'll take it away. We promise.
I forgot about that.
Bow to us or we will make you suffer.
No, Sony.
I really don't like the way they're handling the PS5 Pro thing.
Mm-hmm.
The whole like, oh, you want physical discs? How about you buy an $80 add-on? I think that is a terrible idea.
Yeah. Is it really $80 if you want to
$80
to upgrade your current game that you already own to the PS5?
No.
It gets worse.
You can buy the PS5 Pro, but if I remember reading this correctly, you can get an optical drive for it. It's just going to cost you extra as an add-on, like literally like bolted on the side.
I see. Okay, you're talking. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So they're giving you the option to
cut open the box of it and then just attach it.
It's like Legos.
Yeah,
I just think it's dumb. Like I want them to design a console that like actually looks nice. Like I still hate the popped collar router.
Yeah.
I still think it's hands down one of the most hideous designs I've ever seen.
It doesn't look as bad when it's laying on its side, but it also doesn't feel symmetrical. I know the Xbox doesn't either. everything's kind of off-centered or whatever, but there's something about like things just being square and
Paul Hein brings up a good point. What is even more criminal with the Blu-ray add-on, it won't even output Pro Blue level Blu-ray. Xbox has a better player for movies, and the company who invented the median.
That's interesting. Although I can't tell you the last time I played a Blu-ray. Maybe
it's okay because remember if go back and look at your original PS5 box, and it says 4K in the corner, and it still can't do 4K. It's like if you look at the majority of PS3 discs, they were never 1080p. They were only 720. So like Sony is always kind of like skirted that, like, oh, we have the ability to do it. We're just not going to actually do it.
Right.
I do want them to continue with exclusives. Sony does make a good exclusive product.
I mean, they're kind of the only ones that did this for the past few years, right?
Well, I mean, Microsoft is looking to be more inclusive with more players across a bigger like thing. Whereas then you've got Sony's just like, no, we don't want to play with other people.
I mean, more power to them. They're giving you a reason to own a PlayStation,
right?
Whereas Xbox is making it harder for me to justify.
12 games isn't enough reason for me to own a PlayStation.
Right, but if that's the only reason to own a PlayStation over an Xbox, what's the difference? Other than my achievements, which honestly is becoming less and less important to me. I say that, and I bought Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered on Xbox when I already owned it on Switch, so I could earn the achievements. So I'm a hypocrite.
I don't know. Like the older I get, I'm just like, I like Xbox's mentality right now. They're like, can't we all just get along? Like, it's games.
Yeah, but I think from some people's perspective, Xbox saying that is more them rolling over and being like, we need to do something different instead of this is the from a position of strength. It feels more like a Hail Mary to some people.
Up again, like I hate the position of strength argument. Congrats, you've sold more consoles. Congrats, Microsoft still has way more money. Microsoft has openly said, we can take a loss. We don't care.
Yeah, Microsoft does. Xbox doesn't.
It's the same company.
You know what I'm saying? Xbox is part of Microsoft, and if it's not making as much money as PlayStation is making for Sony.
When Xbox and Microsoft can go, oh, look, we just crapped out another $12 billion. Let's go buy another company.
And then you get into the whole monopoly argument again, and then it's
yep, they still won that one.
Anything else?
The fact that like Konami, another Japanese company, is like, no, we won't even sell it to Sony. So, but I would just like to see a little more friendly engagement with their customers, at least. Not this cold shoulder and just like, you're gonna love us because we're Sony.
Yeah, remember like back when PS4 was announced and they had that whole video of like, here's how you share a game on PlayStation. And then they just hand it to the guy.
It's such a wild course correction for how they were last generation, where they're like, we're going to be friendly with people. And now they're just like, you're just going to love us anyways. So just buy our stuff and shut up and enjoy it.
Yeah, I feel like some of that might be perspective. I don't get rubbed the wrong way like you and Zach do with Sony. But I'm also
and that's also Zach, who is a Sony guy,
right?
I'm more or less like, yeah, you have of the triangle of like the three companies, Nintendo, Xbox, and Sony. You have one of the three companies that's like, we'll leave our fans in the cold and we don't care.
What do you mean by that? What are they doing to leave their fans in the cold that I'm not understanding?
It's just the crass like just attitude towards them. Like you have Xbox, who's just like, yep, we're going to be friends with everybody. You have Nintendo's like, we make family friendly games and we enjoy our customers. And then Sony's like, oh, you stood your PlayStation 5 up and it melted? Well, screw off. Like, we don't care. Go buy another one.
That happens. They won't replace a PS5 if it melts from standing up?
After like a certain date. Yeah, no.
Well, I mean, it's out of warranty.
So, but It's just like when you read like their tweets and everything, it just seems so cold and crass.
Okay.
It-
Are you sure that's not you coming from
I
being
own
a
both.
I know, but you were clearly a bigger Xbox fan than you are a
I've
PlayStation. You always have been.
no,
And
that is a
the
lie. That is a lie. You shut your mouth.
since we've done this podcast, you've been a bigger Xbox fan than a PlayStation fan.
Because I just like the way I like the Xbox environment. I hate with a passion PlayStation's UI.
hmm
I think it is a garbage UI.
No, I understand. I get what you're saying, but
But
I'm saying the way that you're coming across, it sounds more like I like this one better, so this is why this one sucks.
Every time that like Sony has bought a company, I'm like, cool, good for them. Like I want all three companies to survive.
hmm
I want them all three, but like I want more integration. I just want like all three companies to just kind of be like, you do your thing, we'll do our thing, but like at least like just work together on some things.
hmm
It just seems like Sony's so arrogant about like we are Sony, like bow to us or die. Like it just
I'm not seeing that. I'm not getting that vibe, but I'm probably not looking as deeply as you are. So,
and like I mean, some of it is the aggressive fanboyism that you're like forced upon people.
I mean,
It
also on
really
both
does feel
sides,
like
man.
it not it really does feel like a political climate for like video game things. Like
Yeah,
you have party A, party B, and party C. And
I
let's
think
be
it's
fair,
party.
Nintendo's the green party.
I was gonna say, but they're like on doing their own thing. It's party A and B, and then
Nintendo's
C
just
is
like
also
playing in
there.
a sandbox, just eating crayons.
No, but Nintendo is doing just great. They're doing
Uh,
very,
ju-
very well.
When I say that, like they're just sitting there in the sandbox eating crayons.
I know, but
They're enjoying their life and just being happy.
yeah, but Nintendo is far better than the Ross Perot of the three video game companies. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not, um, they're not.
I know, but
It's not that they don't have a chance. But anyway, Jake, what do you want from Sony in the future?
I need them to they've got a lot of their old school games on their store, but I would like for them to have some kind of service, just like how Switch has, that you can go back and kind of load up those games and play whenever.
They did,
I'd
didn't they? I don't subscribe to PS
Oh,
Plus, but didn't they have like a tier that had that?
the tier
maybe.
that the multi-level tier that like locked people out of certain things.
Yeah.
They make way more money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just another sign that they hate their fans.
Well, I mean, Nintendo's is like $20 a year, right?
Yeah.
Whereas what was it like at one point in time? It was like, oh, you can get the entry level for like $12 that has like 5 games on it, or this level that's
Yeah.
30, or this one that's 120.
But they've got their games on there, but there's not. I mean, they've released some of those old games on previous consoles and
Mhm.
not on the newer ones. It stays on that system because I've got the original Jack and Daxter on the 3 on the PS3, and I can't bring that up to the 5 to continue playing it because it's not on the PS5 store, it's on the PS3 store.
Mhm.
And I want them to change that and make those games more accessible again.
Mhm.
Because like even have Mega Man Legends 1, 2, and Tronbon on the 3, but again, I'm not sure if it's accessible on the 5 because
So you want the next hardware
those
to have the
stores-
drive on it still, so you could play your old discs.
I just want the store to be all encompassing. If it's going to be the PlayStation Network, it should be able to have all of the games on it, not just
Like, can you play like the old God of War games, like God of War 2, and God of War 3?
If you have old hardware.
No. Like on the current gen, you can't
If-
go buy those in the store, can you?
No.
I see.
That's why I said you have to have old hardware. And I do think that
Are they available on the PSN?
That's what I'm
I
asking.
guess I haven't looked specifically for those.
while you're
games.
talking, I'm going to look.
Because I'm with you, Jacob, that like I would love if it's not available already, because again, I'm not deep into the PlayStation ecosystem to know. I'm not really looking for those kind of things. But
Yeah.
if they came out and said, "Hey, by the way, you can get God of War and God of War 2 on PlayStation now for like $5," I might go back and revisit those games. Those first two games were actually, the third one was good too.
One of the games, me and my kid talk about this game all the time, is Tokyo Jungle, and that was
Yeah,
a PS3 exclusive, and you can't get that anymore because it was only on the PS3 store.
yeah. It's
So,
not
but
even like there wasn't even a disc of that game, right?
no.
Yeah.
But to be fair, all three companies are terrible about taking care of their older
Preservation.
games. Yeah,
Yeah.
preservation points.
Yeah, but that's what I would like to see, because I mean, back in the PS3 era, PlayStation was basically all about power to the player, and now it's 20 years later, and they just like CB was saying, it doesn't seem that they care about it anymore. They're going to put out the games that maybe you want to play, maybe you don't want to play. I just wish it was more. I don't know. I don't want to play any of the new games. I want to go back and relive things. I want to go back and play some of the older games, but those games are only available if I hook up an older console.
Unfortunately, I think that as much as you and I both want that, I feel like that's something that a lot of gamers say they want, and then when they get it, they never use. Like, I remember when Xbox announced that they were going to bring back original Xbox games on Xbox
Crimson
Series
Skies.
consoles. Huh?
Crimson Skies.
Yes. Because I was like, I could not wait to play Crimson Skies. Actually, I played Crimson Skies a few weeks ago just to get back into that, and that game's still great. But that was like huge news, and I've done it like 3 or 4 times. You know what I mean? Like it's something that we all say we want, and it's something that, and then we just play something new, or you know what I mean, or something that's comfortable.
So Paul Hines says the PS3 software doesn't play on the PS5, and see, that's something that blows my mind, because when the PS4 came out, they had the same problem. You could not move saves from the PS3 to the PS5 because the coding was different. It was different in such a way that it would not be able to function with the old code. You're still PlayStation. Why is your UIs, why is your operating systems so different that you can't play the games on it? Like,
Okay.
that just makes
To be
no
fair,
sense.
they don't want you to play the old games. They want you to play the new ones that are $60 to $70.
But I like, if I want to play a really old game, I can plug in my PS2. But I own and have owned a PlayStation or a PSN account for almost 20 plus years now. I should be able to download or use whatever I've gotten on the PSN from that point, but it's unavailable to me because of the system that I have.
I think the bigger market for that
outrageous.
is going to be people that are younger than us that played God of War 2018. When was the first one?
2018.
2018. And might want to go back and see what the original God of War game looks like. It's not going to look nearly as impressive graphically, but those games are still super fun to play.
And they will probably only play it for like 20 minutes because the graphics are so bad, because you can't have a good game without good graphics.
Okay, I looked this up just for you guys. God of War and God of War 2 are the PlayStation 2 versions, which you can stream via PlayStation Plus Premium.
Yeah, I knew they had that.
They're not even the PS3 remastered editions. It's just the PS2 ones. God of War 3 is the remastered edition, which you can play the PS4 or through a PlayStation Plus Premium. And Ascension, the other 2 PSP games, you cannot.
Interesting. Okay, so there is a way to do it. It's just not the optimal way to do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And again, they've got other older, I mean, they've got some random games on there that maybe some niche aspect people like to play for their subscriptions, but it's not the games that I want to play. Some of the really big ones that I want to go back and actually enjoy again. But
well, I mean, look at Astrobot and all the games that we were reminded of. I completely forgot about the game Intelligent Cube. You remember that game?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that was awesome. There was an old game on original PlayStation called Philosima. That was a shmup. I'm sorry, it was a schmucross. That
Schmangle.
Zaxxon was a schmangle. That I would love to go back and play some of those games. What was it Warhawk? I thought Warhawk was the coolest looking freaking game. And then they did like a remake of it in the PS3 era. That was just an online only game. I like bought that game because I was so stoked, and then it was just online, and I was so mad. Like,
But I mean, there's so many games in the PlayStation library that have been like just forgotten.
Parappa the
Oh, yeah.
Rapper,
Vagrant,
Twisted
Rapper.
Metal 2,
Vagrant Story,
so many JRPGs, like
Legend of Dragoon.
Legend of Dragoon. Yeah, make that. That should be. But again, I
A
wonder if
new-
it's
a new
just
Clock
not.
Tower game
I never
or a
played
Clock
any of
Tower
those.
remaster. It's sad.
Anyway, Jake, did you have anything else you wanted to add from what you'd like from Sony?
No.
Okay, most of my stuff was covered in the comments, which we'll get to in just a second. The one thing that I would like to see Sony change if they do go a new console generation like a PS6 is to do what Xbox is doing with their new versions of the games. Instead of charging this $30 or whatever to be able to play this old game you played on your new console, just let it upgrade. What do they call that on Xbox? When I forgot what it was called, where they optimize it automatically for you, like when the Gears of War collection came out.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name either.
When Gears came out, I'm playing this with Joel Selinsky. He's never played these games before, and I'm like, these games look better than I remember them looking. When you play a remastered game and you're like, this is how I remember it looking when I was originally playing it, and I'm sitting here going, this looks insanely better than I remember playing it back in the day. That says something when you can play just an up-res version of that game. I think I talked about this before. We were playing through Gears of War 3, and the game is optimized, but the cutscenes aren't.
Ooh.
So, like, you're playing the game, and all of a sudden this cutscene comes on. I'm like, oh my god, this is what this game looked like. Smart delivery. Thank you, Sean. That was kind of jarring for me. That like,
I still loved in the Halo Master Chief one where you could actually like flip between like the original look.
Yeah, I wish that should just be a standard in every game. Like I'm playing Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered. That's not on there. Let me flip back because it can't be that hard to do.
You know what would have been even cooler that they could have done with Astrobot? Like just have little portals or areas as you're going through things that you could look back at, like those certain game styles, but like what they originally looked at. Like,
well, yeah, even I mean, part of the fun of that game.
No, put the Astrobot robots like in their different costumes, in like what the things used to look like,
or like a Mystery Science Theater 2000 thing. Have them sitting in the audience watching gameplay on a screen.
That also could have been really cool.
But because I think part of the fun of that game was how vague that was, because some of those were like, I remember that slightly, and they give you just a little bit of a hint, but it would still be good to have like a theater mode where you can go watch some gameplay from that original game and see what it looked like. That'd be pretty cool.
My eyes are crying in CRT.
God, so I still have a CRT, man.
Let's go over to the comments. Starting over on Facebook, we had some responses from the community. Kyle Boggs says, Sony is already great with the story-based exclusive titles, but I'd like to see some of the older games to be rebooted. Infamous, Sly Cooper, and Uncharted pop into my head out the gate. Where is the Infamous reboot? Like, seriously.
Where is Sly Cooper?
Dead. It's beyond dead. Infamous is never going to get rebooted. Oh God, what was the other?
Those are available on the PSN store though.
I know. The other it was the trilogy Killzone. Where's Killzone?
Mm-hmm.
I loved Killzone.
Dude, give me a new Killzone. Again,
was that Gorilla?
Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah, I've never played the Sly Cooper games. I believe those are available on the PSN. I should just go download those and play those. Everyone's just raves about them.
Oh, the Sly Cooper?
Yeah.
My God, it's such a good game.
Yeah. Is there like 3 of them?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A Sucker Punch? Is that right?
Huh? Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
Is that Sucker Punch?
That's Zach Wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I'm just the Xbox guy.
Well, confirm that for us, Jacob. In the meantime, CB, you want to take the next one?
His Lord and Savior Kevin Honigford, writes in, a console that I actually turn on for more than one game in its entire life.
Oops.
I really don't want to sound negative. I've loved PlayStation from day one. However, this has been the biggest waste of money I have ever spent. This is the first PlayStation console that has not blown me away with something. PS1, just about everything was amazing. PS2, just about everything was amazing. PS3 didn't actually experience till way late in its life cycle because of a little PC game called World of Warcraft. PS4, Horizon Zero Dawn, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, and many more. PS5, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. They haven't done anything to make me want to continue my PS fandom in a long time. Again, this right here is another person who's been around with PlayStation since day one.
Oh, it's Kevin.
No, like I have two. My family, we bought a PlayStation like the original. I still have it to this day. Like each subsequent generation, I feel that with like both PlayStation and Nintendo, like each subsequent generation, I felt like I've played less games
On PlayStation or in general?
Well, I've played more on the Series X than I did on the 360. I played more on the 360 than I did the Xbox. PlayStation and the Nintendo have been the opposite. And like I've owned all three consoles. Like when they're in that generation, I've owned all three at the same time.
Right.
So, but like the PS5, there is a layer of dust on mine right now.
I mean, I just got done with Astrobot, so you really need to play that game.
I do, but before that, the last time I turned on my PS5 was God of War. So, I mean, I'm excited for the Ghost of Tsushima like sequel.
It's interesting to me though, because what games can you only play on Xbox? You're choosing to play your games on Xbox when they're also available on PlayStation.
I like day one. We like when we all had like our like look at like first hands on the console and everything. I still hate the controller.
Oh, I love the control. I love the PS5 controller.
I hate it. I think it's garbage.
Don't get me wrong. I like the offset sticks better. That just feels more natural to me. But the PlayStation 5 controller just feels solid.
I've got
in my hand.
Gorilla Mitts. Xbox has always felt better in my hand.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, offset sticks, love it.
Let's Jake, did you find out by the way?
Yes, it was Sucker Punch.
Woo-hoo. All right. You want to take the next comment?
I'm gonna butcher your last name. I'm really sorry. Brian Rigatoni. Rigatti. There we go. Sure. Someone else can speak that language. I'd like to see Sony start auto saving and downloading save data like Xbox. Doesn't it? Are you talking about like I'm sure he's talking about cloud data.
Yeah.
And PlayStation.
I assumed he meant quick resume. Or does PlayStation have a quick resume function?
If
when you put it to sleep
mode.
Yeah.
But I mean the game still is just waiting for you when you go. I don't remember.
Yeah, but if you power it all the way off, it doesn't.
Right.
Well, I mean, same with Xbox.
Yeah.
You gotta keep it
as long as it's still plugged in. Like you can actually hit the power button. If you hit the power button on the PlayStation and it doesn't go to that sleep mode, and it just boop all the way off, you can't like quick resume back into a game.
Who does that? Who gets up out and walks across the room and presses the power button when they could just?
My wife.
Oh.
Why? You can do it from your controller still.
She doesn't understand gaming consoles, so she just sees power buttons and pushes them.
Rude. It's like when I was.
You should talk to her about that, or does she not listen?
Jackson actually brings up as well. Xbox Quick Resume works jumping from game to game as well. PlayStation, it just quits every game.
Oh, game to game, no. Yeah.
Xbox, you can have like 5 different games.
6.
One.
You can have
Is it
6
now? Okay.
Who needs that?
Honestly, it's not like a needed thing, but it's pretty nice.
When you have gaming ADHD, like a lot of us do, it's helpful.
Most games you can save whenever now, so just save, exit.
Dude, it saves me 15 seconds to boot up the game. Shut up.
Okay, all right, those 15 seconds, I'll never get back.
Hey, that 15 seconds, like there was quite a few people, man, that complained when they took out the Spider-Man loading scenes in the subway.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Next comment comes from Josh Steima. He says, retro-themed hardware for the current gen. Thinking of like a Sony licensed multi-tap with USB and USB-C chargers, or external hard drives that look like old memory cards. Those, and then a big badass reboot of Gauntlet.
Oh
God, I love the new Gauntlet. What was it? The last Gauntlet game we got was Dark Legacy.
Dark Legacy. That was that was like PS2. GameCube. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's.
I mean, I feel like the thing is though, like the appeal of Gauntlet back when, like I'm thinking original Gauntlet, not like Dark Legacy, but like original arcade
Gauntlet,
NES Gauntlet was like that you could play with 4 people at once on an adventure. And that is available in so many other games right now. You know what I mean? That's not a novel concept anymore. That was the only game that lets you do that back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we've got it with, you know, full-on stories and voice acting and great graphics and things like that, and so many other games. So it's not a novel idea. So you'd have to do something really drastic. I just want like a reboot of the original, not 3D, just the over-the-top. Your wizard is near death, or whatever they would say.
Warrior is about to die.
Warrior is about to die. That game was so freaking cool in the arcade when I was a kid. It blew my mind. How good. And he would go into the exit and spin around like he's going down the spiral staircase. It was so cool. Yeah.
No. Was it I played Gauntlet 64. Was it?
Gross.
That one was.
I can imagine that was good.
Of course, I was playing by myself too. So
90% of the games, 90% of the games with a 64 after the title sucked.
Mario 64,
Star Fox 64.
I said 90%. 90%.
Gex 64
sucked. Let's be honest.
Gex 64 was amazing.
No, it wasn't. StarCraft 64 was terrible.
Did you say Star Fox 64 was terrible?
StarCraft.
Oh, StarCraft.
Superman 64.
God loves that game.
I was about to smack you, dude. All right, CB, you're up on comments.
Next up, I love this comment. Aaron Peterson writes in, a working stable network.
You skipped Josh.
No,
I read.
My bad.
And then Amanda taps in to not get hacked again. Oh.
Yeah, we didn't talk about this in the news because I figured we'd bring it up here. It didn't affect me because I wasn't playing PlayStation this week. But did they officially announce what happened? Because my mind went back to like 2011.
They said it was like some optimization problem.
Yeah, it was something internal. It wasn't like a hack or a DDoS or anything like that, right?
Until like 6 months down the road, they're like, "Ooh, actually, we did get hacked again."
Yeah. Well, you remember like back before when like it was down and we all got free copies of Infamous and Little Big Planet or something like that. Remember that? And this is down for 5 days. And
each generation of PlayStation, like since they've been online, I feel like there was the PS3 outage, there was the PS4 outage. Now we've had a PS5 outage.
Yeah. It sucks. And people got 5 free. I'm sorry, I said they were down for 5 days. They weren't even down close to that, but everybody got 5 extra free days of, PlayStation PSN service or whatever.
Honestly, like the best part of this PlayStation outage, and I'm glad we're talking about this now, and it brings up DRM, is there was an article that I read online where they were talking about, thanks to this PlayStation outage, I'm reminded of how few games I actually own.
Oof.
Yeah. That's the thing is that I keep hearing people saying is like, why do I have to be online to play this game? Why
Especially
can't I?
With a single player game?
Well, there's some that actually have online components in them, but it still has a single player mode, but you can't play it because. And remember, this is everything that everybody got mad about back in the Xbox One days when they were talking about always online and everyone was freaking out And Sony came out and said, well, you don't have to be online to play ours. And now it's looking like they kind of just slowly slid that in there.
They're like, yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
And it's stupid because like there was a I can't remember which game it was, but the only online component that this game had was a little banner that scrolled across the bottom talking about joining their Discord and like their website. That's the only online component, but because that was tied into the boot up, you couldn't boot into the game.
Wow.
It was a completely like single player game, all offline, none of that. But because that banner was there, like you couldn't even log into that game.
Also, I mean, stuff's gonna happen. This is a 2-day outage, right?
Go outside.
Are we gonna throw them
Go
out? Throw
outside.
Sony out throw the baby out with the bathwater because they had a 2-day outage?
I'm sorry. What was that? Throw the baby out the.
It's another one of those weird Wisconsin sayings.
You've never heard the phrase "throw out the baby with the bathwater"?
No.
Seriously?
No.
Just like what do you call the thing in the hallway that you drink from, Scott? Is it a bubbler or is it a water fountain?
I call it a drinking fountain, water fountain. Like, I did not call it a bubbler. I thought people that called it a bubbler when I was a kid was weird. There's no bubbles coming out of it. Who's up?
Throw the baby at the bathtub. It would be me.
Remind me after the show. I'll explain to the derivation of that phrase, but that is a common phrase.
It is not a bubbler, Paul. Thank you. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Am I up?
No, I am. Jackie
All right.
said, like Microsoft, I'd like to see Sony expand their library to other platforms, put Astrobot on the Switch 2, put GT7 on Xbox or PC, bring more of their games to PC. Also, I think they've learned that it's not a great idea to put so many ideas and games into a live service. The tried and true games should keep going. The more single player adventures. Some of the PS3, PS4 games are amazing. Keep those going. It's good to see Naughty Dog doing the new game like this. Let's get more games like Uncharted, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima. More like that. More like this.
Actually, so that I just thought about like this. That's a completely untapped market for PlayStation. They could take all those old games that they don't seem to give two flying farts about and release them on Xbox.
I mean, that's what Xbox is going to be doing, right?
But
Yeah.
but for PlayStation, like they could be like, oh, we like dollars.
We like dollars.
You want to play these old games that we won't even let our own fans play on their current console? You guys want to play them?
There's no way that would happen.
No.
There's no way they would let Xbox players play that and not PlayStation players play that.
But it's
Come
stuff that
on.
apparently they don't even care about.
Right.
Still, it's not going to happen.
But then show your own fans some love and allow them to play it on their current consoles.
Wasn't
Right.
Final Fantasy VII Remake
on.
supposed to come to Xbox at one point?
Yeah.
That never happened because, like,
Oh.
look, I've played through Rebirth now, and it's still not a thing. So, is that ever going to happen?
I mean, they released the original PS3 with the PS2 operating system on it, so you can play PS2 games on it. Why can't you just put the operating system, or at least the part that is required to play the games, on the new ones?
Because
That's
Square
what
is
you-
secretly Sony.
I know.
They did that with Xbox. You could still boot into the Xbox 360.
Oh, I know you can still do it too.
Yeah, like
And it angers me. Why can't we do that with the PlayStation?
that is a
like,
fun trip back to nostalgia, by the way.
When it does the 360 boot up.
Oh my goodness, that just brings
I
back
s-
some memories.
If
If
I want to have
actually-
this, if I want to have
if-
a nostalgia trip for Sony, I have to go to YouTube.
Yeah. if Microsoft like ever really wanted to impress me, like for like just allow us to switch back to the older UIs, like give me back the blades.
Let you choose which one you want.
Yeah, be like, do you want
Right.
this one or this one? Give me blades.
Even if it's like a revised version a little bit that's updated, but still, man, I love the blades so much. That
Dude,
just-
everybody loved the blades.
Yeah. Let's see. Drew Ross. Most of their games come to PC, Switch 2, and Xbox. From the looks of it, they may do just that, following the Microsoft lead. Why close off sales to one console and a few on PC when you can release your games on everything, maximizing player base and profits? If they make it available for PlayStation first, or at least at the same time, sure.
Just start doing like
Sure.
honestly, just do timed releases. Like
I
cool for the first year, it's live on PlayStation. Then let it move over.
Yeah. I mean, would you wait?
I
Like
mean,
if a new
but
game came out on PlayStation, then it was going to
we've
come
had
to
this argument before. There are people that don't have the funds and have to basically pigeonhole into one console.
yeah.
So it
And it's
like
not like it's not like there's nothing else to play while you're waiting for that game to come out. But people
yeah.
have FOMO like crazy.
Yeah.
All right,
True.
CB, you're up.
Let's see. Mark Szymanski writes, please more single player story driven adventure games like Uncharted or Horizon.
Preach to the choir, man.
Mark, that requires Sony to remove head from sphincter, which ain't gonna happen at least in this console generation.
Right. It just hurts my feelings. Tim Paulin, just make good games.
I mean, that's
Emphasis on the
everybody.
emphasis on the periods.
Just period, make period, good period, games, period.
Quotation mark.
Well,
I mean, I don't think that's exclusive to Sony for me. That's Microsoft. That's Nintendo. That's
but
yeah.
You know,
I mean, that should be every developer from all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. Just make a good game. Like,
and I think
you want.
that's what everybody's goal is, right? Nobody sets out to make a bad game.
Oh no, you have not seen the scam keys.
Oh, you
The
mean
what?
Shenmue?
Is it Shenmue? I don't remember. So there's a scam on Steam right now where some of the websites that sell the keys for products that you can buy will sell
like
a bundle of
CD keys.
yeah.
Yeah.
They'll sell a bunch of the keys for these crap ass games for like $25, but on Steam those games that are terrible are going for like 60-70 bucks, and then they've got a bunch of AI responses reviews in the oh, good game, we love, oh, great gameplay. Like, no, stop.
Oh, you mean like 80% of all Amazon reviews?
Yeah,
It's funny when you go to Amazon reviews now. I don't even read the actual reviews. I just read the AI thing that compiles all of them and gets the general consensus. It's awful.
Yeah.
I should admit to that. Last comment comes from Alan Sheck. He says, I'd love to see them release a wireless version of the PSVR 2 and pump out a few more VR games with that signature PlayStation quality. Is that, I can't tell if
Blood and Truth, man.
there's one.
Yeah, you get one. Moss.
Moss was great. I didn't play Moss 2.
I didn't either.
I if you're saying PlayStation quality, yes. If we're talking PlayStation VR quality, that's not the place to go.
That first Batman VR was really good.
It was very short. It's like a 2-hour experience.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I really do feel like that first like few finish.
All right, yeah.
Alan's comment.
Alan goes on to say they're the only company in the U.S. market that has even come close to Meta in terms of affordable VR, and they need competition. Monopoly does not look good on them. Yeah, I guess like everything else is like way more expensive than the Meta Quest. But again, we now know one person. Who was it? Was it Jackson?
Yeah,
that has a PlayStation VR 2.
Dude, okay, so I went into Disc Replay the other day. There is a pile of them.
Oh, really? How much are they?
$50 less than.
$50 less. I thought you were going to say $50. I was like, I'm going to buy one now.
They're $50 less than like brand new price.
Oh.
But then you can immediately go over to GameStop and buy them for $100 less than brand new price, which is still like $399. Which I'm like, oh, cool. So I can play with a cord attached to my head, or just buy a MetaQuest 3 for the same price and have access to way more games.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Although people in the let's see, Paul and Jackson both seem to really like the PSVR 2. So
I haven't
played it.
I loved my PSVR 1. The problem is it was that first like year that the PSVR came out that I felt the games were great, and then it tapered off.
I mean, the PSVR 1 was kind of blew me away the first time, but it was also like my first real VR experience. You know what I mean? Outside of stuff at state fairs when I was a kid.
Oh man, No, you played that HTC Vive at Nate's
Oh yeah,
house.
like for a minute. Like
I still have the video of you just like
Didn't I hit the wall with my
Yeah, you
hand or
left a
something?
dent in the wall and a scuff on his controller.
Whoops. Sorry.
But if there is a new iteration of a PSVR, I want it to be more like the MetaQuest. I want the pass through. I don't want the cord. Like it is clearly doable, and for the price point, like it is achievable. Meta has proven it. But it's just going to take them like actually like caring and like putting effort into their VR category rather than just like, hey, it's there.
Right. It's kind of the same love and attention they give to their own like older games, though. Yeah, they're there, but do we really need to look at them?
Good point. Well, there you have it, guys. That was our Sony topic. Do we need to do one for Nintendo?
Yes.
You think so?
Didn't we just kind of do one for the Switch too?
Okay.
Or was it
I say we table
specific.
I say we table the Nintendo one until after the Switch 2 comes out and be like, after we get our hands on it and be like, okay, why the Switch 2 sucks and what we want.
Why do you assume it's going to suck?
I'm still not sold on it, man. It's just an updated Switch,
which is exactly what it should be.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, I want the old Nintendo insanity.
Well, you're going to be able to have a mouse.
They learned their lesson with the U.
Super Mario Paint. It's going to be a thing. So next week, our topic, we're going to talk about game boxes. Which ones were the best size, shape, best protection of the games that were in there. I saw a thread somewhere online earlier this week, and I wanted to talk about video game boxes. We're going to go back through the years.
Oh man, like I might actually post some pictures on Facebook on box variants.
Well, why don't you put together a picture for me to put as the post when I post this comment on Friday? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I can't believe we've gone 560 something episodes or 530 something episodes, and we've never talked about game box. We've talked about box art, but I want to talk about like which ones we liked better, which ones look best on the shelf.
For those listening, I want to know what console do you think had the best box, and what game do you think had the best box? Like collector's edition.
Okay. I'm not talking talking about the art. I'm talking about like
No, I know that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so stay tuned for that. I usually post those on Friday afternoon. So if you're listening to this on release day on Thursday, or if you're here in the chat, it'll be in a couple days. But that's gonna do it for this episode of the Gaming Outsider. Thanks so much for listening. As usual, this episode is produced by Kevin Honigford. All the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. His website, again, is stemagemusic.com, STEMAGE music.com. Please go check him out. He writes some amazing stuff, and you'd be surprised how many games you've probably played that he's got music in there. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Jacob, any parting words or recommendations for our listeners?
No.
CB, wow. How about you?
That was harsh, sir.
I love you all. Thank you for being here.
Oh God, I watched I've been still working on my Plex project and like going through like old movies. And I watched a movie that I completely forgot existed, and I'm glad I missed it back then. Do you remember a movie called Supernova?
Oh yeah, I remember that. There's a sex scene in Zero Gravity, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yeah. That movie was so bad.
That's all I remember from it.
Garbage bad. Like I immediately had to watch like Event Horizon to get the taste of like how bad that movie was.
Event Horizon is so good.
Yeah. It was like Event Horizon, and then for some reason immediately after that I watched Under Siege.
Oh my God, I haven't seen that movie in...
It doesn't hold up.
It didn't hold up then.
And like every time I watch Under Siege, I'm still surprised that I forget that Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey are both in that movie as well.
I didn't remember that. All I remember is the cake scene.
Every young boy remembers
Yeah,
the cake.
that was a very special moment for me growing up. I'm just saying. As for me, I don't have much of anything. I did start reading The Hobbit this week. I've never
The first time?
No, I read it when I was a kid, but then when the movies came out and I watched the movies and I'm like, I don't remember any of this. So I decided it was time to go back and re-listen to the book. And then I'm going to, because I actually never finished the Hobbit movies. I made it through Desolation of Smaug, which is the second one, right?
Yes.
And I never watched the third one. And I know everybody doesn't like those as much, but it's still so much fun to read a book and then go watch the movie and do the compare and contrast game, because I just love that. So
it's because they've left out like they left out key parts of the book in 3 movies.
how is that possible? This is only like a 12-hour book.
Like,
it's not a
like,
big book.
3 movies, including extended versions. Where's Tom Bombadil?
I don't know what that means, but I will soon find out. Thank you to everybody that joined us live in the chat this week. It is always great to talk to you guys. And I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate your patience. I just right now realize how to add comments in here. Look at that. I can actually add Sean's comment. Under Siege 2, Dark Territory is actually some dumb fun. Maybe
Under Siege 2 is great, but Speed 2 is better.
Speed 2 without
with Willem Dafoe
and no Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's got Willem Dafoe. That's all you need.
So thanks to everybody. Please, if you are listening to this on the podcast form, come join us on Tuesdays. About 7:15 is when we start. Follow our YouTube page, youtube.com/The Gaming Outsider, and come join in the fun. We post the link on our socials about an hour or so before each episode. But mark your calendars. Come join in the fun. It will be a lot of fun. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Jacob Gunderson and Chris Behrensmeyer, and we are The Gaming Outsider.
You got to do what Jackson does. Good night programs.
Good night programs. Remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.